So we are starting in a minute. I have already started the YouTube. Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Parama Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Sarva Gurubhyo Namaha, Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha, Shri Lakshmi Narasimha Parabrahmane Namaha, Shri Lakshmi Hayavadana Parabrahmane Namaha, Sarvam Shri Krishna Namaste. So what we are going to deal with, sorry, I have to share. So 1 second, please. Let me share my screen. So you can see my screen, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So I just wanted to see, I will say both in Tamil and English because some people are more familiar with Tamil. A little bit Tamil and English. English definitely will be there so that English people who don't understand Tamil will understand. Okay, that's how I'll do it this class. எத்தனையோ பேர் என்ன சொல்றாங்கன்னா புத்திசம் எதுக்காக கத்துக்கணும், நம்ம ஸ்ரீ வைஷ்ணவம் இல்லை நம்ம வேதாந்தம் கத்துனா போறோம், புத்திசம்ன்றது பார்க்கவே கூடாது, அதெல்லாம் மனசெல்லாம் கெடுத்துட்டு நமக்கே புத்தி போயிடும், புத்தி வேதம் ஜனயேத்தன்னு சொல்றா, ஜனங்களுக்கு புத்தி கெடுக்க கூடாதுன்னு சொல்றா. அதுக்காக இந்த கிளாஸ் யாருக்கு புத்தி வேதம் வருதுன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். If you think that you will be confused, if you think that your faith in Vedanta, your faith in Vishishtadvaita Sampradaya, or faith in Ramanuja or something would be disturbed, please do not listen to this lecture. Just drop it. Don't worry about it. Continue with the rest of the classes. You will be happy. I will be happy. Everybody will be happy. Please, this is just a warning for people because I don't want to create any kind of problem in among people. That's not the purpose. We have a totally different purpose. That is why I created a poll. And in the poll, 70% of the people told that they want to know about this background. And you may ask, why am I interested? And I will tell you why I'm interested. Okay. See, even from young age, I found Buddhism very interesting. The reason is history of Buddha was very amazing to me as a young child. Okay, this can happen to many people. I don't know how many people, how many people thought so. Let me ask a quick question. How many people thought that Buddha's story was interesting when you first heard about it? Anybody?
Yes, I felt very interesting.
Very interesting. Anybody else?
I did too. And just to add, even the younger generation, for them, they believe Buddhism is easy to follow. That's what the current climate is. It
is very good point, Mommy. Ninga sonadu. Yen theriyuma? Enakku therinja mari ethaniyo chinna pasangal, many kids in whom I know, teenagers, have been influenced by Buddhism and have left our Siddhantam and walked away, and then they have become Buddhists. I know of many people. I don't know. See, this may not be the situation in India. In India, I think Buddhism is at a very low, and many people don't get exposed to Buddhism. Am I right or wrong? Are there any people here with parents and who have children in India who are exposed to or who know more about Buddhism or who get influenced by Buddhism? Do you know anybody?
Well, I know two adults, one in her 50s, early 50s, and the other in her 70s, and they got into Buddhism not too long ago. But then they were never much into Hinduism. They were just kind of nominally Hindus by birth.
Okay, but what about the kids who have grown up in India, who have gone to college in India? Like college, influence so not like PUC or something. A college level, kids getting influenced by different thought. See, some of them get influenced by ISKCON very heavily because the ISKCON people also like to communicate with younger children, like teenagers or even more, right? So I don't know about Buddhism in India. But Buddhism is quite prominent in United States and other places where they have this, they call it as Vipassana meditation groups. and many people are invited to go to camping, and they go to a forest or something in camp to camp. It will be a wonderful example, experience of people to children or many people, right? So they will just go and do meditation for 7 days. It's 7 days or 10 days, whatever that Vipassana time frame is. So it's very
Vipassana is very popular in many cities of India.
in India also.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously, because the main center is in Igatpuri. Igatpuri in India is the main center.
Yes, near Mumbai.
Mumbai. Okay. Now, see,
Yes.
the thing is, it is personally I know that one of my close friends who is now a professor became a Buddhist, right? So the thing is, in my life, I lost a lot of money when I was in 40s. Okay, I could not digest it for 10 years or 15 years. People called me fools. Even my relatives called me that I'm an idiot. All these things happened, but I really lost a lot of money, which I could have retired when I was in 40. See, at that time I felt, how is that money is becoming so important to me? That means if I lost so much money, I face failure. Many people do not like people who failed. They always find that, oh my God, that guy is nothing. He's just like a stupid guy kind of a thing, right? So people blamed and everybody blamed. And I felt that I also could not digest the fact that I lost so much money in such a stupid way. I made a small mistake, which became a huge mistake, and I lost a lot of money. Okay.
And that happens to more than just you, Krishna. I think the same happened to me too.
Exactly. So the thing is, but see, what I don't know is mentally, it took me 14, 15 years to digest it that, okay, it's okay to lose money. It's not a big deal, right? It was hard for me a little bit. I thought that I was spiritually mature, but I was not. And I am not even today. Okay, so I found this even among great Orthodox Pandits. They were Sanskrit professors, they knew Vedas, they are Veda Shastravits, they knew a lot of Hinduism, a lot of Vishishtadvaita, a lot of Advaita, a lot of people, they were very orthodox in even their lifestyle. They did Aradhanam, that one, this one, they did their Nitya Karmas and everything like that. And I found them pretty nice people. I learned a lot from some of them, actually. I'm not saying they were totally bad or anything like that. But when it comes to, suppose some parents died and the parents' property had to be shared among brothers, sisters, siblings, and all those things, there were a lot of fights about how much do I own? What out of what my parents had, which comes to me? Or how much money will I get? How much what home will I get? What property will I get? This kind of fights, those even mature people, even though they were spiritually educated, did not show the signs of maturity. I found that pretty interesting, saying that, look, learning something by textbooks and other things, textual knowledge is not exactly realization. So I found that that's very difficult. Lack of vairagyam, right? See, whatever they did, I asked them, why did you not have vairagyam and all those things? What to do? I'm not really capable. Anyway, God will take care of me. I have done my prapatti and all my sadhana. I don't care about anything. My maturity will come eventually. I don't care about it. So this is how they said it. And on the other hand, a person walked away from 4 palaces and hundreds of servants. Today, he may be worth 5 times, Ambani, or 5 times Zuckerberg or Tesla, Elon Musk, or somebody, the richest person. And that was Buddha. Buddha walked away from so much money, didn't even look back, only had one thing in his mind: I would like to find a solution to sorrow, dukkham. Dukkha nivritti is my focus, not about money, not about anything else. So that was very interesting to me. I don't know about you people. It says that, look, this guy is somebody.
What about Rama going to the forest?
Rama going to the forest, it was more promised, right? It was more like, see, that also affected me. It's not the question. Rama is one of the bestest characters. And when we were young, most impressive character. There is no doubt about that. So for the sake of the promise and to keep that, he left everything and walked away. That is also extremely powerful. So, Rama is definitely in fact, don't tell me about Rama going to the forest, because when I was young, my aunt used to make me sleep just by telling that story, because I would cry for a long time when I heard that Rama went to forest and he had to go to forest. So definitely it affected me also when I was young. But when I grew up as more like a human being, very much in matter and things like that, I felt Buddha's story was very powerful. The other thing I liked about the story of Buddha was Sri Kesari Swami told that, the Advaitam, the development of Vedanta occurred naturally in India. So the thing is, long time back, there were these Buddhists, there were these Jain people, Jainism, they didn't give much value to the Vedas. They were not haters of Vedas initially. So the original thinkers like the Mahavira and the Buddha did not dislike Vedas. There was no hatred towards Vedas from those big, thinkers. At the same time, eventually, when Buddha passed away, then came the history of Buddhism, right? That is, initially it was Sthaviravada or Theravada. And through 200, 300, maybe 200 years, couple of hundred years after Buddha, there was a council and they put together the teachings of Buddha into 3 baskets and they call it Tripitaka. And then the Sthaviravada came. There was separation between Sthaviravada and the Prasangikas or some other type of Buddhist. The Sthaviravada was an older school, and the Prasangika and other things were there. They were separate school actually. So the thing is, Hinayana and Mahayana separated out. Whatever happened. So the thing is, then came the time of later Buddhists, the Mahayana people who developed a lot of ideas which were precursors to Advaita Vedanta. So that is why it was very interesting to me. And Sri Kesari Swami told us that a lot of development of Advaita is hidden in Buddhism. Not only that, Buddhism can be reconciled with Vedanta. That is what Sri Kesari told us. And that also made me think about this very seriously, that yes, there is something to be known, something to be understood. It is not a push away. Thousands of years, 1,000 years in India, the influence of Buddhism was there for 1,000 years. And that is not not everybody was a dumb person. Even very intelligent people got converted to Buddhism. They believed in Buddhism and things like that. So what Buddhism teaches, Buddhism has got a value to our Vedantins. What it teaches is intelligence or buddhi is unable to understand Atman. What Buddhism means focus on rational thinking, focus on intelligence or buddhi to ascertain everything. For example, anything in our lives, you need buddhi intelligence to become successful in career, to earn money, to avoid problems in life. Buddhi is very important. The buddhi is what we use for choosing the right and the wrong path, what is correct, what is wrong. So buddhi is extremely important in life. But you take the example of the story of Ramakrishna and Master M. Master M walked with Ramakrishna and Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, and he said, "Now I know why God gave me buddhi." Then Ramakrishna Paramahamsa asked him, "Why did God give you buddhi?" To determine that by using buddhi, one cannot understand God. One cannot understand Brahman, or one cannot understand even Jivatma for the purpose using buddhi. So this Jivatma, Atma or Paramatma is buddhyatita vastu. That means it's beyond buddhi. So what does Buddhism do? Buddhism focuses on buddhi. That means only through mental and intelligent analysis, it tries to understand everything, including truth. So it does not find the truth in the realm of buddhi. So the buddhi is, buddhi is applicable more to matter, right? So when you try to use buddhi or analysis to find value in matter, you will not find it. If you don't find it, you will say, no, there's nothing. So because it does not find Atman in the realm of Buddhi, in the sphere of Buddhi, it returns back and say, there is nothing. Obviously, Sri Kesvi told us that that's the correct statement. But if you look at universe, if you look at analysis of science, anything using Buddhi, you will not find Brahman or Atman. So you return back and say, I don't find it, it's not there. And in fact, this is also one of the ideas behind Neti Neti Marga of the Advaitins. Why do you say Neti Neti, not this, not this, not this? Because what is an object of our view is not really that Atman, according to Advaita. Right? So the thing is, the Atman is never an object of our knowledge. So if you find an object, that means that that is not that object. The Brahman has to be different from the object because Brahman is the subject. So to understand something beyond our senses and beyond our intellect, you have to use Neti Neti Marga according to Advaitin. And the Buddhist view of negation is similar to Neti Neti Marga, and it is slightly a precursor. So in that sense, Buddha has done a favor for people who are atheists. That is, people who do not want to believe in something which is eternal. There are a number of people like that, right? Obviously, there are 700 million followers who follow Buddhism today. So obviously, a lot of people in the world are atheists. And such atheists could be born in our own families, right? And we have seen many atheists in our own families. I know a few atheists in my own family. So that is something, an ideology in our brain or in our life. So we should understand what's the nature of that. In short, Buddhism deals with negation because it does not find anything of value, eternality in this universe. That's fine. Any questions on these ideas? Whatever, it is just introduction. Any questions?
What is the statement that K.S.V. Swami used to say that the intelligence is unable to understand Atman? Adena Samskrita Vakyam varta.
Yo buddhehe aparatastu saha. See, this particular statement in Bhagavad Gita is not exactly the statement you want. Buddhe parataram buddhva is there. And in the Kathopanishad, there is one statement. Buddher atma mahan paraha, mahatah param avyaktam, avyaktat purushah paraha, purushan naparam kinchite. It is there, right? That is a famous statement in Kathopanishad. That means beyond buddhi, your mahat. Mahat is beyond the buddhi. Buddher atma mahan paraha. Buddhe atma mahan paraha. Mahatah param avyaktam, avyaktat purushah paraha. I will come to the exact meaning there, but it's very clear that buddhi is a lower level concept, lower level entity than Atma or Mahat or further. So, Buddhi Hadita Vastu. For example, I'll tell you one other thing about it. This is a very big story, a case we told us regarding the conversation of Totapuri and Ramakrishna. This conversation of Totapuri and Ramakrishna, Sri Kesvi wrote in 4 pages in Sanskrit in his work called Satya Siddhi. One would ask, why would somebody do that? Ramakrishna Paramahamsa is not is not a Vishishtadvaitin and all. Why are you spending too much time on that kind of work? What Sri Kesvi told us is Ramakrishna Totapuri Samvadam. In this, so many concepts of philosophy, Upanishads, and Vedanta is hidden in this in the Samvada. It is very important to understand Ramakrishna Totapuri Samvada. If you are interested, I can talk about it some other day. But today, I'll mention it only for one point. Totapuri was a great Nirguna Brahmavadi, and he initiated Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was a Bhakta of Devi, that you know very well. So there ensued a lot of arguments between each other, and finally Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was able to even go beyond Totapuri in any, even in Samadhi, in any level, or Bhakti or Samadhi, he beat the teacher. He exceeded the teacher, that is Totapuri. Once Totapuri said that, now I'm done with everything, I'm going to die. I'm going to walk away. So when he walks away from that situation, what happens is he gets sickness. That is he gets tummy ache and a lot of sickness due to a lot of alimentary canal problems. So he tries to get medicine, and the medicine does not work. He tries to get from one place to the other. He goes to solve his sickness. He cannot solve it. Then he says that, look, I am a Nirguna Brahma Anubhava. That is, I am a Samadhi, a guy who knows how to get Samadhi, and I'm a realized person, Nirvikalpa Samadhi. I can get Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Why is this body causing so much a problem? I will get rid of the body by committing suicide. So what he does is, he walks into the Ganges. He goes deep into the Ganga river. But for some reason, that day, the Ganga river does not allow him to commit suicide. He cannot kill himself because the water is not deep enough. He cannot get a place where he can die. Then he comes back without being able to kill himself. At that time, he looks at on the other side. It seems that Ma Durga appeared to him or suggested to him that, look, I am Maya. How can you win over Maya? Your body is controlled by Maya, and I am that Maya, and you cannot win over Maya just like that. You need my blessings. So this gave him the idea that Mahat, or our body, the Mahat is the principle of matter in a way, Mula Prakriti, which gives the Buddhi the very first idea of how to understand concepts, objects, and stuff like that. So that Mahat is higher level than Buddhi, because that is our body is made of all our body, mind, our brain, everything is made of this Prakriti, which is under control of Maya. However you want to think of Maya, it is not important. Maya, it is definitely not in our control. Even in the Sharanagati Gadya, we say, what do you call, Mayam Sharanagathosmi, right? It says that it hides the truth and things like that. That comes in the Sharanagati Gadya also. So the point is, Buddhi is a lower level entity and it cannot understand Atman. And Buddhism proves to you that it's a clear representation, understanding that intellect is not enough to understand Atman. Okay, now, I'll directly deal with this, but unfortunately, I have to talk a few minutes about what is Swabhava in Buddhism. Swaswabhavata. Is Swabhava same as Dharma? We say Dharma is attributes of ஒரு பதார்த்தம். பதார்த்தத்துக்கு அது குணம் வச்சுட்டு அது தர்மம்னு சொல்றோம். அது குணமா இருக்கட்டும், தர்மமா இருக்கட்டும், அபிருத்தக் சித்தமா இருக்கட்டும், doesn't matter. ஒரு பதார்த்தம் இருக்கு, அதுக்கு ஒரு தர்மம் இருக்குங்கிறோம். இது அது குணமா வச்சுக்கோங்க, it doesn't matter. This is the nature of all our life, right? This is fundamental to all Vedanta. The external world exists. There is a real external world. And then that external world has features, attributes. So fire has the feature, attribute of burning. Fire has the attribute of heat. Similarly, water is naturally cool. So ஒரு பதார்த்தத்துக்கும் அதோட தர்மம் இருக்கு. This is our understanding of life. This is very clear, and that is very fundamental for Vishishtadvaitins and Vedantins, because not all Vedantins, but let us talk about only Vishishtadvaitins. Dharma Dharmi Bhavam is important for Vishishtadvaitins because you say, yes, Jivatma, it has a dharma. Prakriti has a dharma. There, and I as a consciousness, that is a Jivatma, that has a dharma. Paramatma Ishvara has a dharma. Paramatma is Jagat Karana. So the thing is, there is an external world. There is a real external universe and an external Ishvara who controls that universe, and number of Jivatmas stuck in this matter who are in this samsara. So these concepts are very important for Vishishtadvaita to be established, and is fundamental. Here, that fundamentals are questioned in Buddhism. I will show you a small different thing here. Hope you can see this. Just to show this, see, this is a book from a person on Chatushkoti or Tetralemma. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. This is a book. I will tell you the name of the author a little bit later because I have to find it. This is an excellent book on Buddhism. And the reason why I got interested was I wanted to understand the Advaita logic. How does Advaita logic work? How does, in fact, I studied a book called Ishtasiddhi of Vimuktatma. Ishtasiddhi is a work from a great Advaita philosopher called Vimuktatma. And I had that book about 40 years ago, 35, 40 years ago. And I studied it, and the logic of what they want to do in that is using logic, they deny anything which is Bheda in this world. Bheda means I exist, a computer exists separately. Or there is a fundamental difference between so many things in this world. Animals are different, human beings are different. So he is a Kshatriya, he is that person. We see the differences everywhere. But what that Ishtasiddhi of Vimuktatma does is, the moment you talk about difference, that is all erroneous. And difference is not the nature of any object in this universe. So the truth is, there should be no difference, and Advaita should be the true truth. That is what Ishtasiddhi of Vimuktatma, using logic, he discusses and he establishes Advaita. So obviously you may be thinking that one would go crazy by reading all these books. And if you suppose you don't want to read all these books, you can just say that I am just a follower Ramanuja. I'm just going to pray to Ramanuja. I will say Ramanuja Nutan Dadi 100 times a day, and I will just follow. That you can follow. You can be a very sincere Vishishtadvaitin. But you should not write books like Tattva Mukta Kalapa. The reason is you are trying to question other systems of thought. So if you as a Vishishtadvaiti just wants to read Alvar Pashrams and go to temples and then keep on doing prayers, you can do that. You have the faith, do it. But don't ever come and attack other systems of thought like Advaita or Buddhism or anything like that. Stay in your temples. Stay in your goshtis, Andal Goshti or whatever Goshti you want. So this is what the problem is. This is where the problem is. If you are trying to understand other systems of thought, you need to use logic, you need to use rational thinking, and that's what Tattva Kalapa author has done. So we need to understand why Vedanta Deshika did what he did and what is the real value, not just Vedanta Deshika. Look at our Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya did not just stay in a temple and keep on serving in a temple. Even though Ramanujacharya established the temple worship long time back, and that's exactly what we are following even today in Srirangam, Kanjipuram, in Divyadesham, everywhere, in every temple, and also Archamurti at home. We are following all these things because Ramanujacharya established. But Ramanujacharya wrote Sribhashyam and said that this is the first work. If you're capable of doing it, study Sribhashyam and spread it to other people. This is the fundamental thing he said. So understanding this external other systems of thought is very fundamental to understanding any text like Sribhashyam, and Tattva Kalapa is no different. It is very much in the center. Okay, now let us come back and understand why I want, this is the, we want to understand Swaswabhavata. What is Swabhavata? Before coming to Tetralemma is the Chatushkoti, right? Chatushkoti comes later, but I just want to show you what this, I noted down certain things. Just wait for a second. I'm just finding the right place to. One more thing you need to understand is Nyaya theory or Nyaya system was not there when Nagarjuna was there. Nagarjuna was the person who wrote, who made it famous, this Chatushkoti Vinanmuktam. Tattvam Madhyamika Viduhu. That was actually established by Nagarjuna. And prior to that, there was Dingnaga. Dingnaga was probably a teacher of Nagarjuna. So Dingnaga was about 200 something, and Nagarjuna maybe in the 300 AD kind of a time frame. Now, I want to focus on the word of Swaswabhava because that is fundamental to Buddhism. So we are using terms which are slightly different. Just a second. Give me a... Okay, so Swabhava is very complex. Swabhava means just the nature of objects, right? That is nature of objects. But Swabhava, definition of Swabhava is slightly different. 1 second, I'll come to that. Just give me, today I didn't have time to write down everything. Okay. Okay. So let us take Swabhava. For example, a sprout depends existentially on its cause. Means that if sprout means a tree, a little sprout is like a small plant, right? When it comes out of the, it germinates and comes out of the ground from the seed. So if sprout exists, there will be some objects falling under the property causes. What are the causes of the sprouts? That means seed is the cause of the sprout. From the seed, the tree or the small plant comes. Soil, water, sunlight, and so on. They are existential causes. So similarly, if an object exists, so will it all its parts. That is, if I say Ratha, Ratha is a chariot. Can you think of Ratha other than its parts? You cannot think of it. But a summary or the total, if the parts like the wheel, the axle, and the saddle and all those things are put together in a particular way, you call it as Ratha. But without the parts, you cannot call it as Ratha. So any object is dependent on other things. So it does not have any value on its own. It does not have unique value from itself. That is what the Madhyamika started thinking, that there is no Swabhava in anything. So Swabhava means something complete, something eternal, something of lasting value, which exists out of any object. So for them, the understanding of object is, does it give you any value? So if you look at our whole lives, saying that, okay, we are born and we are gone someday. After that, what is this life for? I don't see anything of value in this life. So because everything is impermanent. So the impermanent is what you see in outside world is impermanent. That's what you see. Really, everything is impermanent. If that is true, nothing has Swabhava, because Swabhava should be permanent, should be of real value. And so the external world does not have Swabhava. That was the idea they wanted to understand. And because it does not have Swabhava, it is empty. Empty means Shunya. Shunya means it does not have any value. So they started understanding Shunyatva from that perspective. Many of us think, many assume, Shunya means zero. Zero means nothing. That is not the idea of Madhyamikas. What they said is, Shunya means that which does not give eternal value. And that one, let me find out a particular, see, if it depends on something else, that is not giving you value. There's something else is giving you value. If you go and find out the root causes, that something else also doesn't give you value. So that is why there is no real lasting thing in anything. So this a reason why a composite object such as a chariot or self are not ultimately real is that they do not withstand logical analysis. Once the chariot or self is conceptually dissolved into its parts that constitute it, the objects have disappeared. All we are left are with parts collectively conceptualized as a chariot or a self. The thing is, here is a very important point they are bringing. We are trying to understand Madhyamika philosophy here, right? We need to understand that before we say that that is all wrong, we first have to understand it. This story of this chariot comes in the Nagasena conversation with Milinda. That is known as Milinda Panha or Milinda Prashna. Menander, a Greek, Indian Greek, king, talked to Nagasena about what is life, what is truth. Nagasena said, look, you came in a chariot. You say you came in a chariot, but do you know what a chariot is? Chariot is nothing but a collection of parts. If it's only a collection of parts, it does not exist without the parts. That means that particular chariot does not have real value. So the world is like that. Similarly, the self, we call it Jivatma, right? What does Jivatma mean to me? Then you say, oh, Jivatma perceives object with form, rupa. Jivatma can perceive, touch. So sparsha, it can perceive touch. What can it do? It can think, mind. So all these things are experiences we can have in our lives. Other than the experiences, what do you have? They say that there is no need for the experiencer because there is no need for a lasting experiencer. Only all we see is that we have experiences, we come here, we are born and we die. So the self, which is a combination of experiences, which is just like an aggregation of experiences. When I was a child, I felt this. Later on, I became a youth, I felt this. And it was just combination of experiences, all through my senses and mind. And later on, what happened? I died. And everything was just an experience. What was lasting? There was nothing lasting. Don't think that our Vedas are straightforward. Tanyevanu vinashyati. We can talk about it later, but it is 6:45 now. I have to summarize in 5 minutes. Okay, with this, I'm going to stop it because I have to come to Tetra Chatushkoti, because next time we have to get the lecture of Sarvankasha. So all you have to think is, Swabhavata means something which has real lasting value. That is not there in anything we see, whether it is a self or whether it is a chariot, external object, or an internal object like ourselves. That is not lasting. And there is no swabhava there because we see experiences going away and there's no value of experiences. We keep on searching for something of value in all our lives. That doesn't exist. That is why Buddhism defined emptiness in that way. Now we come back to because I need to finish this quickly. Okay. Now we come to the tetralemma from the current slide quickly. So Sat means that which exists. This is existence, which is existence means what? It is something graspable. We can hold on to, you can touch, feel, concrete, right? It is affirmative. Oh, yes, it is there. I see, somebody bringing me food and I see the food and I eat. Oh my God, I did have food and I'm happy. So there's something which exists. So Sat means that which is eternal. Na Sat means it is not that which is eternal. And Asat means what? Does not exist. This is simply never was, never will be. Like the horns of a hare. If the word hare is spelled wrong, H-A-R-E, I'm sorry, I have to correct it. So, Asat means that does not exist. So like horns of a hare, it never existed. There was never there before and never will be there in the future. So it is a denial or nihilism. So many people think shunya means asat. That is not true. So shunya or the tattva, which is known as shunya, that is the Madhyamika call ultimate reality, tattva as shunya. That shunya is not asat. Shunya is not sat, that which exists eternally. Shunya is not asat, which is not there to start with. It was never there, like the horns of hare. And that is not Shunya is not that. Shunya is not Sat and Asat. What is Sat and Asat? Something exists for a certain period of time and it ceases to exist. Example, a tree existed one day, somebody burned the tree and the tree doesn't exist. So it existed before, but it did not exist later. So Sat Asat, so it is both Sat and Asat. But Shunya is not Sat Asat. That is, it cannot be classified in this option. Then what is that? Oh no, let us look at a fourth category, Anirvachaniya. What is that? It is neither Sat nor Asat. What does it mean? It is illusory existence. This is the example of the famous Rajju Sarpa or snake rope illusion. Was there a snake in the rope? There is no snake. But if there is no snake, how did it appear? We thought that there was a snake. So the world is illusory, just like the snake and the rope. And that, so hence this world cannot be said as Sat or Asat. It is neither Sat nor Asat. But Madhyamika says this Anirvachaniya category, Shunya does not come under this category. Shunya is not illusion. Shunya is not the mirage of water you see on a hot day on the road or something. Shunya is not illusory. So what is Shunya? That is the ultimate reality. So the Tattva or the ultimate reality is none of these four options. This is the Chatushkoti Vinirmuktam Tattvam Madhyamika Viduhu. Give me a few seconds. Why did he say that? Yeah, you have a question?
Yes. Maybe you mentioned it before. Whose quote is it, or what is the origin of this quote? Na sat na asat.
This nasat nasat nasan nasat na sadasat nacha ubhayatmakam. Ramapal Swami mentioned that I had nacha anubhayatmakam. It should be say it is not nacha ubhayatmakam, nacha anubhayatmakam. Tatashkoti vinunmuktam tattvam madhyamika viduhu. This is, I think, the quote from Nagarjuna.
Nagarjuna himself. Okay.
Nagarjuna in his Mula Madhyamika Karika. Mula Madhyamika Karika is a Madhyamika text. He says that.
Thank you.
Okay. Here, very important thing is this dialectic. Forget about these four sentences here, right? We can go through it quickly. All things dharmas exist. Affirmation of being, negation of non-being. That is. So don't go through. We already gone through that. So we'll come back to here. Okay. What that four things mean is that tattva is neither produced nor destroyed. It neither annihilates nor is it permanent. It's neither one or neither many. Neither comes nor goes. So this is the tattva of Madhyamika. What does it mean? It means Nagarjuna refuted all metaphysical speculation. In the Sampradayika enna solrana avalla vitandavadigal avagitta onnu vishayamum illa avalukku vandu oru tathvamum kediyadhu avalukku. They don't have any view of their own. Summa naanga solradella tappu solra avalla. They are vitandavadis. They always find fault with other views, but they don't have their own view. This is what we say. But that's not what they are trying to say. We have to understand why, how these Buddhists think. Some people, Buddhists say today, modern Buddhists, including my friends, say, Vedanta Deshikar in 13th century did not understand Buddhism. He attacked some view of Buddhism, which was erroneous view of Buddhism. So Vedanta Deshikar did not know what he was doing. That is their view. Today, a Buddhist view. We have to understand why Vedanta Deshika does understand it. So other than pati patient. So what Madhyamika says, Tattva or Paramartha Satya cannot be found out by arguments. That means by metaphysical speculation, it is Satyam, this is unreal, this may be half real. All this metaphysical thinking will not give you ultimate reality. You will never find ultimate reality by logic. That is what Madhyamikas are telling you. Madhyamikas are telling you that, see, all this Chatushkoti Vinamuktam Tattvam Madhyamika Viduhu means, we do say there is Tattva. We do say there is Shunya. But that Shunya does not come under the category of these four. Why? Because Shunya cannot be established by your logical thinking or rational thinking or anything like that. It is beyond logic, beyond rational thinking. It is something to be achieved. Why? Buddhists believed in a path. Buddhists believed in a goal. What was the goal of Buddhism? Anybody quickly?
Nirvana.
Exactly. Nirvana, Buddha clearly said Nirvanam, Paramam Sukham. Absolute peace, Shanti is there in Nirvana. He said that. So how can he say that nothing exists? Appadina, and the Sukham in the logical constructs, you will not understand that Sukha or that Nirvana using these logical constructs. So the emptiness of this, that means whatever comes under these logical constructs are all external objects which are empty, because the truth is in Nirvana. And that is beyond all these logical constructs. That is their view. So our Tattvam illa. So the thing is, Tattvam is complex. It is not reachable through Buddhi. So that is a middle path without extremes. That is what Madhyamika is. Madhya means middle, right? So the thing is, the Tattva according to Madhyamika is not determinable. Philosophizing is wrong. That's what they want to tell you. So I don't want to go into this Theravada because it's a little complex and we don't want to go at this point. We will come back some other day. So what they wanted to see is whatever objects come into your life, if you know the truth behind the elements, they disintegrate like the froth subjected to compression by hand. So all life experiences come, oh, something seems like happy. But if you hold on to it for some time, that happiness goes away. Something seems to be dukkha, but even the dukkha goes away. So this universe is empty. It just brings you different emotions, but it is empty. That is their view. Okay, we will stop here because it's time, and we'll just say, now you understand Shunya is beyond Buddhi. Buddhi Atita Vastu is Shunya, what they are trying to say, but they are saying in a different language, different type of constructs and language. So obviously, that's all it is. So does Vedanta Deshika understand this? Definitely he understands this. Because at the end, Buddhists are trying to avoid that there is Atman. And secretly, they are accepting something known as Nirvana. Why accept Nirvana? Is Nirvana empty? They don't believe in it. So emptiness itself is Nirvana for them. But that is something which they experience and they cannot logically think. So Vedanta Deshika considers this option also. If see, look, you can, however you understand Madhyamika, if you think that Shunya is nothing, there we have an answer. We have taken that Purva Paksha, that if it is nothing, we will show that there is something, because all experiences shows there is something real outside. Our experiences are not totally unreal. At the same time, what Buddhism is trying to say is, you make something out of life which does not exist. You think that eating sweet is good for you, but finally it is not good for you. So the emptiness is not in the objects, according to Buddhism. But Vedanta Deshika says you take emptiness however you want, whether you think that it is it lacks value or something like that. That is fine. At the end of the day, there is a perceiver. You are there and you are knowing something and you are experiencing something. You cannot deny the perceiver and the perceived. So this is what Vedanta Deshika is saying, that Madhyamika view, whether you take it as Shunyavada, which is nothing, or whether you take it as Buddhyatita Vastu, that is something beyond Buddhi, it's still, those options are considered in the Vedanta Deshika Sarvankasha, and Vedanta Deshika answers against all these Chatushkoti Vinamuktam Tattva Madhyamika Viduhu. He says that that every experience in our life shows there is an experiencer who is lasting. That is why Buddhism has a lot of problem understanding how can somebody exist for 88 years and remember that when he was a child, somebody did not buy him a cycle or something and he got upset and he went and threw a tantrum at home. You remember after 88 years, how can this memory exist? Buddhism has a lot of problem explaining what memory is and things like that. Obviously, you cannot convert a Buddhist into Vedanti. He will remain a Buddhist and Vedanta will remain a Vedantam. So all our acharyas, our Vaidika Sampradaya clearly establishes Brahman exists. There is something constant. There is something, jivas exist. There is something constant. That is what Bhagavad Gita says. There are some things constant. So this is the fundamental idea of the Vaidika rishis is eternality. And that can be realized by acharyas and great rishis have realized it. So it is not a textbook thing which they're saying. That can be realized. What they're saying is Buddhists haven't realized it. So Madhyamikas have not realized it. They have not gone beyond the Buddhi and realized the Atman, which is very powerful and intrinsic, and it has real lasting value. This is where I want to end. It is exactly 7 now, but we started 10 minutes late. If you have a few questions, we can handle it now. Sorry for the quick summary. It is hard to explain this concept.
I have one question on the timelines because there are different views on that. So I just want to know in historical perspective, like Charvakam eppe irundhathu, Buddhism, Jainism, was there an overlap? So in the moon time period, what I would like to know on that.
Charvakam என்றது செப்பரேட்டா வந்து சார்வாக்கால் இருந்தால் அப்படின்னு சொல்ல முடியாது. Okay, the Charvaka, it is a myth. Sri Kesvi told us there was not like how there are Buddhists, they are like Vedantis. There was no set of Charvakas. Charvaka is a matam. Brihaspati or somebody created that ideology, right? Saying that Charvaka is nature of human beings, not believing anything, happiness being the end to itself. Even if you don't have money, go get a loan and eat well and find happiness right here. And the Charvaka Matam is just a natural materialistic view. Not that there were some followers of Charvaka Matam. That's the timing. Okay, that is one thing. And you ask the question of what is the next question?
Buddhism, Jainism, historically, because some
historically accepted one there. Shala Advaitical accept pandradhilla and the Kanchikama Kodipitam konja accept pandradhilla. But the thing is, Buddhism existed in 500 BC around that time. But the Buddhism developed. See, it changed as they go. In 200 AD, Dignaga came. Then the Nagarjuna came. And so many other people came. It changed. Then Chandak, Chandakirti and Ravar Nagarjuna Sonradama explained Panare. Nagarjuna Odolo problem he started explaining. That is a big force. Buddhism has changed over time. Adhe Mari, Jainism, Jainism in started 500, 600 before the Common Era, CE. 500 CE, 600 CE, Buddhism and Jainism. Then slowly Vedanta grew. Vedanta was there hidden. It was all there. Vedanta was not destroyed. There were earlier thinkers, Vedic rishis were there since 4,500 before BCE. So later on, what we say, Shankaracharya came in 800 roughly. Ramanuja.org came in 11 something and 12th century. And then came Vedanta Deshika. Then came the other Advaita authors, Vimukthatma, Prakashatma, what do you call Vidyaranya Swami. All these people came late. So our later acharyas also came late. So thing is, somehow this is how the history is.
Thank you.
Ramapriyan Swami, I want your view on the lecture if you have heard it, if you had time to hear it. Swami, solungo. Adiyan, irkingla.
Adiyan, Dasan.
ஏதாவது உங்களுக்கு என்ன நான் சொல்றது தப்பு இருந்தா சொல்லுங்களேன்.
நல்லா இருந்தது. விஷயத்தை கரெக்டா இது பண்ணி வந்தது. ஆனா அதுல ஒரு விஷயத்த ஆட் பண்ண முன்னுக்கு
என்ன சொல்லுங்க?
கேஸ்வி சுவாமி இந்த மாத்தியமிகாருடைய இந்த சூன்யவாதத்தை எதுக்காக எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்றார், எதுக்காக இதுல அவ்வளவு பரிசிரமப்பட்டார்? ஏன்னா அது நமக்கு தேவையில்லை. சுவாமி ராமனாச்சாரியர் கூட சொல்லிட்டார் மோககம் இதம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி. ஆனா சுவாமி அந்த பேதோவா அபேதோவா தியாத்மகதாவா கோயமர்த்த சமர்த்திதா விஷயத்தை சொல்றதுக்காக இந்த மாத்தியமக்காருடைய இந்த சதுஷ்கோட்டி வினிர்முக்தத்தை சொல்றார். இந்த சதுஷ்கோட்டி வினிர்முக்தம் முழுக்க நெகட்டிவ் ஆஸ்பெக்ட்ல இருக்கு. பேதோவா அபேதோவாங்கிறது பாசிட்டிவ் ஆஸ்பெக்ட்ல இருக்குது. ஸோ அதை வச்சுட்டு எம்பெருமானாருடைய சர்வஸ்யாபி ஸ்ருதிவேத்யத்வா சர்வம் சமர்த்திதம் அங்கிற அர்த்தத்தை புரிஞ்சுக்க முடியும்ங்கிறது சுவாமியுடைய ஒரு வியூ, கேஸ்வி சுவாமியுடைய இது. அதுக்காக தான் நமக்கு இந்த விஷயத்த சொல்லுவார் எப்பவுமே. தேவனும் கேட்டிருக்கேன் பல விஷயத்துல சுவாமி கிட்ட. அதனால இது அந்த இடத்துக்கு கொண்டு போய் கனெக்ட் பண்ணி விட்டா நமக்கு வேண்டிய மாதிரி இந்த விஷயத்த நம்ம புரிஞ்சுக்கிறதுக்கு அனுகூலமா இருக்கும்.
ஓ, ஓகே. நமஸ்காரம் சுவாமி. அது தெரிஞ்சிருக்கல சுவாமி எனக்கு.
இல்ல தெரியும் நமக்கு. நீ ஒரு தடவை சுவாமி கிட்ட கேட்டு இருப்பேன். சுவாமி அந்த இடத்துலதான் இந்த விஷயத்த எடுப்பார் எப்பவுமே.
ஓ, ஓகே ஓகே. எனக்கு அந்த கனெக்ஷன் அவ்வளவா தெரியல.
எம்பெருமானாருடைய வேதார்த்த சங்கிரக வாக்கியம் பேதோவா அபேதோவா நீங்க கேட்டிருக்கேன்.
ஆமா.
தியாத்மகதாவா அப்படின்னு சொல்றாரு, உபய விதமானு.
ஆமா.
இது சர்வஸ்யாபி ஸ்ருதி வேத்யத்வா சர்வம் சமர்த்திதம் அப்படின்னு கொடுத்து.
ஆமா.
இப்ப இது மூணும் இருக்குங்கிறது காட்டணும்.
ஆமா.
அந்த இடத்துல இது மூணும் இல்லைங்கிறது சொல்றா.
ஓ,
எப்படி இந்த சூன்யவாதத்துல இது மூணும் உண்டோ, இந்த நாலுமே உண்டோ, அத போல இந்த இடத்துல இது மூணை வச்சுண்டு இது ஸ்ருதிவேத்தியம் எப்படிங்கிறது சொல்லி இதை காட்டுறார். அதுக்காக அந்த இடத்துல இதை சமன்வயம் பண்ணி சொல்லுங்க. கடைசியில நீங்க இதை கன்க்ளூட் பண்ணுச்ச. இன்னும் நீங்க சொல்ல போறீங்க அடுத்ததா, அதுக்கு எடுத்ததுல
நான் ஒண்ணு சம்மரைஸ் பண்ணலாம். ஒரு ரெண்டு பாயிண்ட் சரியா சொல்லல இன்னைக்கு. எதுனா அந்த சுபாவத்துடைய ரியல் டெஃபினிஷன் காட்டணுமா இருந்து, அப்புறம் அந்த சூன்யத்தோட ரியல் டெஃபினிஷன் காட்டணுமா இருந்து அதுக்கு சொல்ல முடியல எனக்கு. நான் சம்மரைஸ் பண்ணிவிட்டேன் இதுல. பட் நெக்ஸ்ட் டைம் ஒரு 10 நிமிஷம் சொல்லலாம் இதுல. அதுக்கு சம்மரைஸ் பண்ணலாம். பட் நீங்க சொல்றது, நீங்க பேதோவா அபேதோவா எடுத்து சொல்றது ரொம்ப நல்லா இருக்குது. அது நான் ஒன்னா பவர் பாயிண்ட்ல போட்டு என்ன சொன்னார் அவர் பேதோவா அபேதோவாலன்றது நான் ஒன்னா காட்டுறேன் இன்னைக்கு. பட் நீங்க கரெக்ட் பண்ணது ரொம்ப நல்லதாச்சு. யூ ஹேவ் டு ஹெல்ப் மீ அவுட் டு கிளியர்லி அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் இட் ப்ராப்பர்லி.
ஓகே, ரொம்ப நல்லா இருக்கு. நீங்க விஷயம் சொல்றது தெரிஞ்சுக்க வேண்டியதுதான். அப்புறம் அந்த ந புத்தி பேதம் ஜனையே அங்கிறதெல்லாம் ஒன்றும் இருந்தாலுமே இன்னொன்னு சுவாமி எப்பவும் சொல்றார், சும்மா வேடிக்கையா சொல்லுவார் அந்த வாக்கியத்தை. யாரோ உங்களை கேள்வி கேட்டார், இதுக்கு ஏதாவது கேசி சொல்லியிருக்கிற சுவாமி சொல்லியிருக்கிறது ஏதாவது ஒரு கோட் இருக்கா சம்ஸ்கிருதத்துலன்ற மாதிரி. சுவாமி சொல்லுவார் வேடிக்கையா, சாஸ்திர ஜானம் பகுக்லேஷம் புத்தேஷ் சலன காரணம் உபதேசாத்து ஹரிம் புத்வா விரமேத் சர்வ கர்மசு அப்படின்னு சொல்லி சிரிச்சுட்டே சொல்லுவார். இந்த சாஸ்திரத்தை உள்ள போய் அதுல இதுவா அதுவா இதெல்லாம் புரிஞ்சுட்டு திண்டாடுறதுக்கு போனா அந்த புத்தி தான் போயிடும். அப்புறம் கடைசியில என்ன, இதோ இது புத்திசம் சொல்லியிருக்காளே இது நல்லா இருக்குமே, இந்த அத்வைத்தவாதம் இருக்கே இது இன்னும் நல்லா இருக்கே அப்படின்னு சொல்லி அதுல இது சரியா அது சரியா அந்த கன்ஃபியூஷன் இது எல்லாமே போயிடும். இது எல்லாத்துக்கும் என்னடா நல்லது அப்படின்னாக்கா, நம்முடைய சித்தாந்தத்துல சொல்றோமே, ஆனந்தமா சமாஷ்ரித்தாளாய் சுவாமியுடைய அனுகிரகத்தை பெற்று சரணாகத்தாளாய் ஆச்சாரியனுடைய அனுகிரகம் பெற்று உபதேசாத்து ஹரிம் புத்வா விரமேத் சர்வ கர்மசோ, எந்த கர்மமும் வேணாப்பா எல்லாத்தையும் பெருமாக்கிட்ட சமர்ப்பிச்சாச்சு அப்படின்னு சொல்லி போறது. ஆனா அப்படின்னு போயிட்டா அந்த சித்தாந்தத்துடைய விஷயம் எப்படிதான் இந்த விஷயத்த உபபாதனம் பண்ணினார், எப்படிதான் இந்த விஷயத்தை புரிஞ்சுக்கணும், எப்படி இந்த விஷயம் அது காட்டுல வேறுபட்டது, எப்படி இந்த சித்தாந்தம் நமக்கு சரியா இருக்கு, இதெல்லாம் புரிஞ்சுக்கணும்னாக்கா நமக்கு இந்த பரிசிரமம் பட்டுதான் ஆகணும். சுவாமி தேசிகனுக்கும் இந்த அளவுக்கு போய் இந்த புத்தியில இதை போய் அதெல்லாத்தையும் எடுத்து அப்படி பண்ணி அலச வேண்டிய அவசியம் இல்லை. ஏன்னா அவர் பரம வைராக்கியசீலர். ஏன்னா அவர் அவருடைய அந்த ஞாச தசகம் அது எல்லாம் பார்த்துட்டா அவர் இந்த மாதிரி எல்லாம் யோசிக்க முடியுமான்னு தோணும். ஆனா பிசாச்சானாம் பிசாச்ச பாஷையா உத்தரம் தேயம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவார். அது மாதிரி அவளுக்கு அவ லெவல்ல போய் தான் சொல்லணும், அவளுடைய பிளாட்ஃபார்முக்கு போய் தான் சொல்லணும். அந்த சொல்லலைனாக்கா அது அப்பிராமாணிகமா நினைச்சுடுவா. அதுக்காக அந்த லெவலுக்கு போய் சுவாமி சாதிச்சார் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி சுவாமி நடுவுல எப்பப்போ சொல்லுவார் விஷயத்தெல்லாம். அதனால அது கேட்டது ஞாபகம். அதனால உங்களுக்கு
நீங்க சொல்றது perfectly true, and in fact the whole of essence of Bhagavad Gita is pratyakshaavagamam dharmyam susukam kartumamyam மாதிரி நம்ம சித்தாந்தம், நம்ம ஆத்ம சாட்சாத்காரம், பரமாத்ம சாட்சாத்காரம், இதெல்லாம் it can be experienced. நமக்கே புரியுறது, நமக்கே அர்த்தமாறது, நம்ம பெரிய ஆச்சாரியாளுக்கெல்லாம் அனுபவமா இருக்கு. ஸோ நம்மதெல்லாம் வெரி ஸ்ட்ராங் சித்தாந்தம், அதுல ஒன்றும் ப்ராப்ளமே கிடையாது. just to understand and to have more trust and faith in our own system, இது பண்ணணும், அவ்வளவுதான்.
நான் புத்தியில யோசிக்கிறவாளுக்கு இந்த விஷயத்தை எல்லாம் பௌத்திகமா விசாரம் பண்ணலனாக்கா அதுல ஒரு இது வராது. எப்படி நீங்க சொல்ல இந்த ஏத்தியஸ்ட் எல்லாம் இருக்குமே, அதுல ஒரு ஸ்ரத்தையா வராது அப்புறம் நம்ம இதுக்கு. அதுக்காக சிந்தனம் பண்ண வேண்டியது அவசியம் தான்.
வெரி குட். அடியேன் கரெக்டா 7:10 ஆச்சு.
எனக்கும் உங்க இங்கிலீஷ் எனக்கு புரிஞ்சுது, ஒன்னும் சமயம் இல்ல, அர்த்தம் ஆச்சு.
ஐயோ நமஸ்காரம் சொல்லுங்க, உங்களுக்கு சும்மா தெரியாதுன்னு சொல்றேங்க, அவ்வளவுதான்.
பயந்துட்டேன், என்னவோ நீங்கெல்லாம் யூஎஸ் சிட்டிசன் அந்த மாதிரி எல்லாம் பேச போற, நமக்கு புரியுதோ இல்லையோ நினைச்சேன்.
ஒன்னும் இல்ல சுவாமி. ஓகே, ரொம்ப தேங்க்ஸ் ஃபார் அட்டெண்டிங் த லெக்சர். நமக்கும் இந்த மாதிரி சின்ன பசங்களுக்கு பெரியவா ஒரு லெக்சர்ல இருந்தாலே நமக்கு சந்தோஷம். அண்ட் கேசி சுவாமி கிட்ட எவ்வளவோ கத்துட்டு இருக்கோம். இந்த அண்ட் ஷோயிங் அஸ் த பேதோவா அபேதோவா ரொம்ப பெரிய விஷயம். இன்ஃபேக்ட் அந்த பேதோவா அபேதோவா இன்னொரு நாள் ரொம்ப டீப்பா போகணும். ஏன்னா அதுல கேசி சுவாமி எவ்வளவு பரிசுரம் பட்டிருக்காரு. இட்ஸ் an individual contribution of கேசி சுவாமி on that. எதுக்காக பேதம் தான் நம்ம தர்ஷனம் சொல்லலையே. அவர் அந்த திருக்கட்சி நம்பி போய் சொன்னதுக்கு அதுக்கு அந்த கஞ்சிபுர வரதராஜர் கிட்ட போய் பேசிட்டு அவரே சொன்னாரு இவருக்கு, என்னடானா பேதம் தான் நான் தர்ஷனம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லியாச்சு. ஆனா கூட இவர் வேதார்த்த சங்கத்துல பேதோவா அபேதோவா எல்லாம் சொல்லிட்டு வந்திருக்காரு. எதுக்காக சொன்னாரு அன்றது ரொம்ப பியூட்டிஃபுல் பாயிண்ட். நீங்க எடுத்துருங்கோ. அதை இன்னொரு நாள் ரொம்ப டீப்பா டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணலாம். அடியேன் தாசன் நமஸ்காரம். இதோட நான் நிறுத்திக்கிறேன் இன்னைக்கு. If you don't have any question, we'll stop here.
श्रीमते रामानुज.
श्रीमते रामानुजाय नमः. अस्मत् गुरुभ्यो नमः. अस्मत् परम गुरुभ्यो नमः. अस्मत् सर्व गुरुभ्यो नमः. श्री कृष्ण परब्रह्मणे नमः. श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंह परब्रह्मणे नमः. श्री लक्ष्मी